Imagine a colossal fleet of more than 130 ships, carrying over 30,000 soldiers and sailors, sailing under the banner of Spain, ready to invade and conquer an entire nation. This fleet was known as La Grande y Felicissima Armada, the Great and Most Fortunate Armada. But the world remembers it by another name, the Invincible Armada. Yet, as history teaches us, no fleet is truly invincible. Nature and strategy combine to change the fate of this grand operation. Today, we dive into the epic drama of the Spanish Armada, its launch, its battles, and its historic downfall. In the late 16th century, Spain was the superpower of the world. Under King Philip II, the Spanish Empire spanned continents, its ships dominating the seas, its coffers overflowing with gold and silver from the Americas. But Spain was not only a military and economic power, it was the defender of Catholicism, committed to suppressing the spread of Protestantism in Europe. On the other side stood England, a small but defiant nation ruled by Queen Elizabeth I, who had transformed her country into a Protestant stronghold. Her reign was marked by boldness. She supported Protestant rebels in the Spanish Netherlands and authorized privateers like Francis Drake to attack Spanish ships, stealing their precious cargoes. These actions infuriated Philip II. To him, Elizabeth was a heretic and a pirate queen who had to be removed. In 1587, the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, Philip's Catholic ally, was the final provocation. Philip decided on a full-scale invasion of England. To achieve this, he ordered the construction of one of the largest fleets the world had ever seen, the Spanish Armada. Planning and assembling this grand fleet took years and vast amounts of resources. Over 130 ships, including heavily armed galleons, troop transports, and supply ships, were prepared for battle. On board were more than 30,000 men, sailors, soldiers, and priests ready to restore Catholicism in England after victory. Despite the scale of this operation, Philip II made a controversial decision. He appointed the Duke of Medina Sidonia, a nobleman with no naval experience, as the commander of the Armada. His loyalty was considered more valuable than his knowledge of naval warfare. Meanwhile, in England, Queen Elizabeth's advisors, including Sir Francis Walsingham and Lord Charles Howard, prepared for the inevitable attack. English shipbuilders designed smaller, faster, and more maneuverable ships that could outpace the larger Spanish vessels. Rather than relying on brute force, the English planned to use agility, range, and innovative tactics. Finally, in May 1588, the Armada set sail from Spain. Its mission was straightforward: sail through the English Channel, rendezvous with Spanish forces stationed in the Netherlands, and together cross to invade England. But immediately, the fleet encountered difficulties. Storms scattered their formation, forcing several ships to return for repairs. These delays gave England more time to prepare its defenses. As the Armada advanced through the Channel, it encountered the English fleet. Unlike the Spanish, who fought in tight formations suited for boarding actions, the English ships harassed the Spanish from a distance using superior cannons. The Spanish ships, heavier and slower, struggled to adapt to these hit-and-run attacks. One of the most critical moments came at the port of Calais. The Spanish fleet had anchored, hoping to regroup, but under the cover of night, the English sent 8 fire ships vessels set ablaze and released toward the anchored Armada. Panic erupted. Spanish ships cut their anchors to escape the floating infernos, breaking their defensive formation. The chaos allowed the English to attack the disorganized fleet at dawn, but the battle wasn't decided solely by human hands. Nature itself played a decisive role. Strong winds and storms pushed the Spanish northward, with no way to link up with their army in the Netherlands, and under constant harassment by the English Navy, the Armada was forced to retreat. Sailing around Scotland and Ireland to return home, the fleet faced treacherous waters and violent storms. Many ships were wrecked along the coasts, their crews lost to the sea. By the time the remnants of the Armada limped back to Spain, less than half the fleet remained. The once proud, invincible Armada had been devastated. The consequences of the Armada's defeat were profound. Spain's aura of invincibility shattered. Though it remained a significant power, its decline as Europe's dominant maritime force had begun. Economically and militarily, the losses were staggering. Spain had invested enormous resources in the Armada, only to see them consumed by war and weather. Meanwhile, in England, victory was a cause for national celebration. Queen Elizabeth I's leadership was praised. The image of the Virgin Queen standing strong against Catholic Europe became part of England's national identity. The triumph boosted English morale and confidence, encouraging further naval exploration and expansion. Over the coming centuries, England would rise to become one of the greatest empires in history. The defeat of the Spanish Armada also altered the political landscape of Europe. Spain's setback emboldened rival nations like France and the Netherlands, who now saw an opportunity to challenge Spanish dominance. Protestantism, which Spain had sought to suppress, gained strength as England's success was viewed as a divine endorsement of the Protestant cause. The Spanish Armada became a symbol in both Catholic and Protestant worlds. In Spain, lesson in humility. In England, a story of divine protection and clever strategy. Artists and writers immortalized the event, turning it into legend. Even today, wrecks from the Armada rest beneath the waters off Ireland and Scotland, silent reminders of this historic battle. Strategically, the defeat of the Armada demonstrated the power of naval innovation over brute force. English tactics, including the use of fireships and long-range artillery, outclassed Spain's traditional close combat approach. The decision to favor speed and maneuverability over heavy firepower influenced naval strategy for generations. Politically, the Armada's failure marked the decline of Catholic hegemony in Western Europe. England's survival ensured that Protestantism would flourish, not only within its borders, but also across its future colonies. Perhaps most importantly, the defeat of the so-called Invincible Armada taught the world a powerful lesson, that no force, no matter how vast or well prepared, is immune to the unpredictable elements of nature and human ingenuity. The story of the Spanish Armada is more than a tale of ships and battles. It's a story of pride and strategy, faith and politics, of a changing world where new powers rose and old empires faltered. It is a reminder that history can change with the shift of the wind. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the dramatic history of the Spanish Armada, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that shaped the world. Join us in the next episode, where we'll explore another moment that changed history forever. Thank you for watching. May this story inspire you to reflect on the power of leadership, the unpredictability of fate, and how the past continues to shape our world. See you in the next video.